really looking forward to sharing a lot of photos, a lot of reels, a lot of more podcasts on the 6 units in Georgetown, South Carolina, which we're branding Cooper Commons. So we kind of made it blue, my son's favorite color. If you don't know, my oldest son, his name's Cooper.
Welcome. This is the Hot Real Estate Investing Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping others through real estate investing. Our hosts interview guests from all aspects of real estate investing who generously share valuable experiences and advice. Whether you're starting out or an experienced investor, this is the show for you.
Hello, and how's it going? My name is Travis Shelton, and welcome to the Hot Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we focus on the mindset, motivation, and methodologies of successful real estate investors. And in today's episode, I'm going to break down a 6-unit multifamily property from Georgetown, South Carolina that I bought at the end of 2023. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Today, as I've posted a little bit about my South Carolina deal, I really wanted to deep dive into the deal, give you guys a little bit more of a background. So we'll talk about number one, why the heck I picked South Carolina. I live in Arizona, don't have family in South Carolina. So why in the heck I chose South Carolina for a place to invest, 2,000-3,000 miles away from Phoenix, Arizona. Number two, why I like this deal and what made me want to get into this deal. And then lastly, I'll give you a little bit of an update on what my plans and some of the places and some of the problems I've already encountered in less than a month dealing with this out-of-state investment. And then obviously I'll continue to share updates on this project and other projects as we go through 2024. All right, so number one. All right, why South Carolina? Okay, so I grew up actually in Atlanta, Georgia, in a little place called Stone Mountain, Georgia. So I am kind of used to the South. I know the South. Went to college at University of Kentucky. So actually, my college roommate, my freshman year at UK or the University of Kentucky, lives in Charleston, South Carolina. So my wife, my family, we visited and visit Charleston pretty regularly, about once a year. My wife absolutely loves it. It's a place where we're looking to likely buy an investment property for ourselves or a second home at some point. So we absolutely love South Carolina for just the vacation purposes, right? And so in the last year or so, my wife and I have discussed buying investment properties in South Carolina or the Southeast. And so we've been looking at that area. Number one, just because there's a lot of red states, right? We like the economics, we like the population growth of the Southeast, particularly Charleston and Myrtle Beach area in South Carolina. We also like places like Huntsville, Alabama, northern Georgia, southern Tennessee or so. But really, South Carolina is a place we really keyed in on, looking for an opportunity there. And again, John, my college roommate, John Skojek, if you're listening, shout out, my buddy. He's my boots on the ground, right? He can go drive an asset for me. He can go meet with a property manager if I need to. He's checked out a number of properties. And this one particularly was one that he was like, well, it wasn't the one I was the most scared of that I drove by. So I thought I was probably getting a win there by, at least he wasn't scared to go outside on this one. So kind of mentioned John, boots on the ground, mentioned my wife, Erin, love in South Carolina in the Charleston area, the red states. The cost of living is really low. So the dollar per door is a lot lower. Some of those financial calculations that you hear about, like the 1% rule, actually work and pencil out in places like South Carolina. Those numbers don't work in California. Those numbers don't work in Arizona, right? But in places like the Southeast, where the cost of living is a little bit less, where the dollar per door is a little bit less, some of those financial numbers work. And so as I've gained a lot of appreciation on my assets and my investments in Arizona, I'm really looking to start planting some of that money into more cash flowing assets. And I can cash flow a lot more and at a higher percentage in South Carolina than I can in those same sorts of deals in Arizona. So then finally, like if you look at some U-Haul numbers, if you look at people population numbers, you'll notice a huge amount of people are moving from the Northeast to South Carolina because of that cost of living and because of a number of different reasons, especially since COVID. So, like in the West, where you see a huge migration of people from California going to Texas, Nevada, Las Vegas, Phoenix, you're seeing a huge number of people starting to go from the Northeast, New York, New Jersey, Boston, those sorts of areas down to the Southeast, like South Carolina. So really, really like all the financials, all the economic reasons for South Carolina. And then it's really a huge bonus, those business write-off opportunities, right? To go out there and check out an asset in a place we like to vacation. So it's a huge win-win for me. Plus, get to visit one of my best friends in this world when I do get to go out there. Okay, so why this deal? Some of you guys might have known I was evaluating 10 units out there for quite a long time. It was called Conway, South Carolina, which is in Horry County, just same place Myrtle Beach is, kind of the northeast part of South Carolina. But in Conway is where the College of Charleston is. They've got a major university there. I like a lot about Conway. Found a nice asset there, did all the due diligence. And so what happened was when I was doing the due diligence on that deal, I started creating my team, right? Found an amazing property manager, found some contractors I wanted to do work with. And so while I was doing all the due diligence and went out to Conway twice to really look into this deal that ultimately it fell through because the due diligence, there were a lot of capital expenditures that were delayed. The people just weren't taking care of the asset. The property manager was doing an absolute horrendous job. And we ultimately, after inspection, we found a lot of deferred maintenance that we tried to negotiate. We tried to come to terms, but ultimately it just didn't work out on the deal in Conway. And had a great broker out there, Kyle Davis. If you happen to be out there in kind of that North Carolina area, he's an amazing, broker out there that I would refer. Or Kyle Chase, I'm sorry. It was Kyle Chase. So if you're looking for a great broker out there in North Carolina, South Carolina area, he does more. His name's Kyle Chase in North Carolina, but really great guy. Really, really highly recommend if you are out in that area. And so, but what happened was I had built my team. And so I was pretty distraught. Really, I was like, man, I really wanted to do a deal in 2023. And so I'm always looking at opportunities, and typically I'm using Crexy or broker opportunities for off-market deals, and just happened to start looking a little bit more on Zillow and Redfin, and came across an opportunity for something over 4 units because I was looking for a commercial property. And this deal just happened to be sitting on the market for quite some time. It was on the market for over 6 months. It was kind of overpriced. But what I noticed was in the comments, the owner was open to seller financing. And what happens in a lot of these smaller multifamily deals, if you don't have the proper experience, if you haven't signed on debt on a Fannie Freddie loan before, it's really difficult to get financing. And then that financing, if you do get it, it's typically a bridge, it's at a higher interest rate. And so it kills a lot of these deals that you try to go do when you're kind of a newer investor, right? Or maybe don't have the big track record or can't get, a secured debt. And so because of that, I really like the option of potential owner financing. And so started digging into the deal, digging into the location. Didn't know Georgetown, South Carolina, except for the fact that when I went out there to Conway, went to Charleston, we drove by Georgetown, and I noticed it was a small, nice river town. It happens to be the 3rd oldest city in South Carolina, but really nice little river walk area, and just a quiet little cute old southern town, right? So when I came across this town, this deal, I started looking into it, looking at the location, called my property manager that I was going to use on the Conway deal, asked her what she thought about Georgetown, if she would work out there. She absolutely knew Georgetown. It was 20 minutes from where she lives in Surfside, South Carolina. So really easy for her to get down there. She went and checked it out, really liked it, and so got to tour it. So I bought this deal, okay, sight unseen. I still to this day have not seen this six units. I bought it for $615,000, about $60,000 under asking price. Still haven't seen it. So, I'm crazy, right? Haven't seen this deal, but I liked so much about it. And because I trusted the property manager and I had boots on the ground like John to be able to go out there and check it out. And because of Google Earth and the technology we have today, was able to underwrite it, look it out. I got some bids for, roof contracting, all things. Seriously, this deal has gone so well. I don't want to even go look at another property again, because this deal, like everything that could have gone wrong didn't go wrong, right? Everything that could have gone right went right. It's really been crazy. Like, I was nervous about the roof, had estimated capital expenditures, had to put a new roof on. Roof got changed 4 or 5 years ago, right before this owner that I bought it from took it over. So actually, I have a brand new 25-year warranty basically on this roof that I don't have to do anything with. So it's going to save me, it saved me 20, 30,000 right off my capital expenditure budget, because I don't have to do anything to the roof. And so that's more improvements I can do the rest of the property. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but basically, I found this deal. We liked the deal. It was amazing because I could negotiate, right? And as an agent, I could have fought and brought my own agent, but I used a listing agent, right? She was incentivized to take both sides of the deal. She was incentivized to get the deal done. I knew that she would work with me to make sure that we were able to close by the end of the year. And so I pushed that. Was one of my goals, was like, I can close by the end of the year. I can solve the problem for this seller that's been trying to sell this asset for 6, 7, 8 months and been unsuccessful. Hey, I'm a qualified real buyer that can close this quick and by the end of the year and get this off of his hands. And so this asset was just poorly managed, right? It was 6 units. Each one of them's two bedroom, 2 bath. They're all about 800, 800 plus square feet. And they're really nice little units, but bad management. Property manager was in Myrtle Beach, didn't want to come down, didn't place tenants. Most of the tenants were on month to month. Most were getting super low rents. So when I talked to my property manager, I'm like, hey, what do you think these rents could get? I got someone paying $850 month to month. I can get 1,1200 as is. And if I improve these units, I can probably get around 1,400 plus. And so right now what we're doing is we're painting all the outside. Well, I'll get to the whole plan in a second, but let's just get to the deal itself. I digress. I'm excited about this deal. I love talking about this deal. Okay, so the deal itself, Georgetown, South Carolina. Look it up. Little small river walk. Not really boring South Carolina town, but good cash flow. People need a place to live. People need a nice, safe places to live. So $615,000. I put $100,000 down. I got it owner financed at 6% only. Interest only payments for up to 4 years. So we did a 3-year interest only with a 1-year extension. Okay. So my max out of pocket for my mortgage is under $2,600 a month for the 6 unit. Okay. So $2,575 is what I have to pay monthly starting March 1st to the owner. Okay. Now it's a 1982 build. They're all 2-2s, right? Six units, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths each. Again, I'll get about $1,150 to $1,200 is what I'm going to get right now without any renovations to the inside, day one. And I've got about 4 or 5 people already interested in units. Okay. But we've had a little trouble with the county getting the water turned on, so we haven't been able to clean out the units yet. But that got solved this week. So we're cleaning out all the units this week. We're going to have probably placed 4 to 5 we're going to fill it up, right? I have 2 tenants in there right now. One's moving out by the end of this week. The 5 will get placed probably by the end of next week. Okay. So the key that I found was poor property management. I found a desperate seller wanting to get rid of a problem, and I was able to make the deal work for my numbers and ultimately, for my family. And so the goal is, we'll get these in. We're going to sign 6-month leases up front while we do all the exterior improvements. And then as we re-up, we'll start doing the interiors and bumping those rents from 1,100 to 1,200 to more around the 1,400 mark, likely, towards the summer of this year or towards the end of this year, before we go ahead and be able to hit numbers to cash out refi. And the goal in this deal is actually infinity return. I think within a year, 18 months, I'll be able to pull out all my investment money, refinance into Fannie Freddie debt, and then be able to basically cash flow for the rest of my life with no money actually into the deal. This is a B class, maybe B minus, perfect value add deal. Exactly what I was looking for. Checked all the boxes, and it just really, really worked out. All right. So what are the plans? All right, if you look at this, look it up on Redfin. If you look it up on Zillow, you're going to see it's kind of overgrown trees around, which I found. You don't mess with oak trees in a really old town. These are 120, 140-year-old oak trees that you have to get permits to even cut. All right, so there's some issues just getting these trees cut, but you can take them back from your building without any kind of permits. And so that's going on right now. We're going to paint and rebrand the whole outside of the unit. So it's kind of this ugly brown green color. We're going to make it kind of this Carolina, really nice blue hydrangea color with darker navy blue accents and white trims. It's going to look Carolina-esque, right? It's going to look like that Beach City 6-unit, really nice, quaint property. And that's what we're going to do first, is really make it aesthetically appealing to the outside. It's on the main highway as you're coming in and out of town. If you know anything about small towns in the South, almost everything's off the main highway. So it's actually really we're going to improve the curb appeal, put a nice sign up there, and really be able to improve a nice little piece of property out there in South Carolina. I think a place that tenants are going to love to live. It's going to be safe, it's going to be comfortable, and it's going to be a really nice property that people are going to be proud to live in this nice small little town. We're doing the cleanouts right now. Like I said, we had a little delay in getting Georgetown to turn the water on, but we've got that all squared away. I mean, this is a town, you got to go to City Hall. You got to place an application. You got to wait for one person to enter in the application. We had to do that because 6 units, 6 times, 6 deposits. These things move slow in small towns, but it's just something you have to expect. It's something you have to work through, and it's just something that you have to endure in some of these smaller towns. But incredibly nice people, incredibly great City Hall to work with. Thus far, I've really enjoyed actually dealing with all the people down there at City Hall to make this this a successful endeavor so far. And so we're changing out the windows in the back, putting in some new dual pane windows out there. We're going to include the signage. We're going to add a fence around the property. We're really going to make this property really nice. I'm really looking forward to sharing a lot of photos, a lot of reels, a lot of more podcasts on the 6 units in Georgetown, South Carolina, which we're branding Cooper Commons. So we kind of made it blue, my son's favorite color. If you don't know, my oldest son, his name's Cooper. And so we were thinking about Sonny's place. That'll be the second place we buy out there. But we're going to brand these kind of after our kids, and really having an exciting time, kind of being able to choose different materials for this project, picking the colors of this project, and really looking forward to share additional success. And so at the end of the day, my numbers show that, the debt service coverage ratio right now on this still is a 1.5 as is. I think we're going to be able to do even better on that. So we'll hold the owner financing for probably honestly a minimum amount of time, because I'll be able to get a better interest rate and ultimately be able to put this into longer term agency debt financing long term, which is a big goal in this particular asset. So if you want to know more, if you want to know how you can get started, please hit me up, DM me. I'm an open book. I'm excited to share anything about this deal, anything about any kinds of deals in multifamily. If I can help you get started, please hit me up. Well, I really appreciate you guys listening. I hope you guys can tell how excited I am for this particular deal, how excited I am to be able to buy 6 units to put in my family trust, and to be able to build and leave a legacy for my family and wealth for my family and for my kids. And if you want to know more, or if I can help you in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out. And take action today to move your investing forward. Take care, and God bless.